Hey everyone, welcome back to Pine Hollow Auto Diagnostics. Can you guess what the customer complaint is on this 2005 Chevy Trailblazer? The wipers. You can't shut them off. Here's the wiper switch. It's on 0. No change. You can put it to high speed. They go on high speed, otherwise they're just stuck on low, even on 0. Nothing. Interesting. You see the washer works? Well, it doesn't have any fluid, but the pump works. So, shut the key off, wipers stop. He said during the winter there was an ice storm, and he got on and turned on his wipers and they were frozen to the windshield. And he's like, oh crap. Turn them off. Got them free, and ever since then they've just been stuck on. He took it to a shop. First thing they did was, hey, you need a new wiper switch. They replaced it. No change. So he said he went online. He's like, well, the wiper module, that seems to be a common problem. So they replaced the whole assembly, the modules, right, part of the motor and the whole linkage. They replaced that. He said they stayed off for like half a day, and then the same thing came back. So he's out of ideas. Now he brought it to me. So first thing, we have to get ourselves familiar with the system. Let's get some wiring diagrams out, see how the switch is tied into that module, and take the diagnosis from there. It should be fun. Alrighty, wiring diagram, courtesy of BBB Industries. Here, let's start with the windshield wiper washer switch. So, whenever you turn the little knob, there's off, and then you have the intermittent settings, low and high. What do we see in terms of the wires coming in, and what does the switch do? So we see a whole bunch of resistors in here, and then on the high speed, since we know there is a difference when we turn it to high, you see this wire right here, oh come on, grounds out, there's a ground, so it grounds pin B, or wherever B comes from. But for low speed, A, everything else is on this low speed wire from off to low. Alright, so now let's go to the second page, which is, oh, where is it? Oh, come on. Second page, which is the actual windshield wiper motor. So inside the motor you can see there is logic, and right here the motor itself and two, it looks like relays, control relays, high and low. So if you remember, B goes to the high, so whenever the switch grounds this wire, this logic board, that gets grounded, and also this relay directly gets grounded. Let's see here, and right here, this fuse number 33, that's the one the owner had to pull from the junction box to get his wipers to shut off. So I put that back in to recreate the problem. So there's power here, constant power, and when you switch it to high, the high relay energizes, and the motor gets, power through this wire. However, the low, why can we not shut this thing off? Well, here's the low relay, and it is controlled through this logic board. So whenever wire B gets grounded through one of those resistors, or was it A? Windshield wiper switch supply voltage. Yep. So A is the low speed control that goes to our switch. Whatever this logic board does, according to this signal, you know, senses the resistance, it'll actually turn this relay either on or on intermittently, like on and off, on and off. Right now, it can't shut it off. So that's a problem. And so we have to get to this windshield wiper motor assembly and do our electrical checks there. We can verify the switch input signals, and I mean, if the signals are good, you know, through the switch, so on 0, what should it be on 0? Let's go to our second page. I don't know why that popped up as a photo. So right here on off, that should not be grounded at all. Is that correct? So you can see our ground distribution right there. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm incorrect. The only thing that gets grounded is the high the high wire. The low wire, it goes through one of these resistors. Alright, let's say you pick the low speed. It comes through the 390 and then back to our windshield wiper motor on leg C. So A and C. And C will be, where's C come from? Right here. Windshield wiper switch signal 1. So voltage and signal, those are the two wires, gray and pink, that go to our switch. Those are the ones we're after. So let's rip apart wherever this thing hides, somewhere under the hood. So I'm assuming I have to take the cowl off, but let's go for that. I have never seen wipers put on so tight. These nuts are freaking cranked on there like 80 foot-pounds. Using a 3-job puller to get the arm off, you have to get this cowl off. Oh. Ah. Oh my gosh. Jeez. That's off. Now, hopefully, this cowl can, yep, so just pops off there. I'm sure they didn't reinstall all the clips. Here we go. Here's our connector. This is our wiper module. So bolts on right here, right there, plugs in. So we can unclip this, and first let's do a resistance check coming from the switch on the gray and pink wires. So we want to measure the resistance on these two pins right at the module. We have it disconnected, C and E, pink and gray. Here's the connector. So A, B, C, sure enough, that's pink. D, E is a gray. Got my AES wave adapters, fit perfect. I'm gonna watch the resistance as I flip the little wiper knob. Now let's look at what we expect to see. So right here, there's A and C coming in to the switch. So on off, we should see infinite resistance. Sure enough, we do. As I go up the scale, we should see 620, 820. Well, actually it's going to be series. So 620, then 620 plus 820, plus 1200, plus 2700, plus 4300. And finally on low, it bypasses all of these and we should see 390. And also on mist, we should see 390. If I go to wash, we should see 0. So let me try the wash first. That's a good baseline. So that's wash. That's 0. That's good. Now let's go to mist. So that is 1 notch down. I'm just going to hold it down like this, spring loaded. 390, just like the diagram says. Now I'm going to go to the first intermittent, 1 kilo ohm. So it's going to be 620 plus 390, which is right about 1,000, 1 kilo ohm. That's correct. Next one, 1.8. So we're adding 820. Perfect. Next one, 3 kilo ohms, because we just added 1200. So we're right here now. So 2 more. So we're adding 2700 this time. Oh, sorry, other way. 5.7. Last intermittent is 10 kilo ohms. And then low speed should be 390 again. Beautiful. So absolutely nothing wrong with the switch. We have the correct resistance values going to this thing. So the problem is right here. So we didn't do all this work for nothing. So as expected. Now this thing, I'm pretty sure it's not OEM. It's probably reman. I don't want to say the D word yet, but it could be. And the only way we can get to it, I mean, right now, we could say, this is your problem. Replace this whole thing again. However, they do sell, I did look online, just the actual module piece that goes under the motor assembly, which has all this logic stuff in it. You can get an AC Delco one for not too much money, cheaper than the entire assembly. So let's pop this guy out and see what's going on in there. Here it is, the whole shebang. It's just painted black. It says, whoa, remanufactured, of course, Valio. Well, what can we do? We can unscrew these little bolts and take this electrical piece off and see what the heck is going on in there. But other than that, not much else we can do. So from Rock Auto, I ordered on a whim the original AC Delco wiper module, which is this guy right here with the connector. And I ordered it because the customer brought the car from, ways away. He described the symptoms. I looked at the wiring diagram and I said, you know what? The only thing it could possibly be is this module. So I'm going to order it. If it doesn't work, we can send it back. But I'm pretty sure the problem is in here. And I wanted to have the part before looking at the car so he doesn't have to wait, 3 or 4 days for me to get the part. So here it is. We have the new module here. And I think we will end up using it. So let's dive in. What are these guys? Like a Star or a Torx, little Torx bit. Let's see if we can pick one out. No, not that one. Yes. Torx bit. Let's undo this module. I don't know if he has a warranty on this thing, but we don't really care. We just want the truck fixed. Alright, so here it is. Ta-da! That's what it is. It's a logic board. There are 2 relays on here. Now, these are the low and high control relays. and it says Song Chuan. So I don't know how they remanufacture these things, but that's what it is. Now, why is this thing staying on? Well, this right here is the position sensor. So whenever the wipers are somewhere on the windshield, it wants to bring it back to rest, even when you turn the switch off. That's what this does. And I assume it has some kind of contacts under there. Maybe we can pop it off. And I think it spins around all the way. Now, where does it engage on the wiper motor? There's a pin right here, and it looks like, you put that down like so, the pin will hit and move this thing back and forth. Easiest thing to do right now is to just try out the new module. I know throwing parts is not recommended, but this is a very educated guess. It's not the parts cannon. I'm starting to call it the parts sniper rifle. Even if you're 90% sure that's what it is, sometimes you just gotta have to go for it. Oh, we got a whole removal, 4 screws. Make sure cover assembly, gear transmission, and gear housing are clear of debris. Installation. Cover assembly attachment, gear housing, and 2 locating pins used for initial alignment. Apply clamp load, drive 4 screws in. Easy. Right? And we got instructions in 3 different languages. Here it is. Here's the module. If we can get it open. Don't want to damage anything here, in case we need to send it back. These relays are NAIS. So very similar setup. I mean, you look at these two. This one has Chinese relays, this one does not. Now what we could do is plug this thing in, and these contacts here actually go to the wiper motor. Now which one's ground, which one's positive and negative, we can easily figure that out even with a test light. But we can put these things on, attach a test light to the pins, and make sure this works before actually assembling it to the transmission assembly. How about that? Let's bench test this on the vehicle. Alright, this is pretty neat. So this is the brand new module, voltmeter setup. This is the ground pin, since I wasn't sure which one it is, but we know. So the middle pin is high speed power to the motor. When we turn the switch to high, relay clicks 11.9 volts. And it doesn't matter where the position is, the wipers will keep spinning and spinning and spinning. Now, if they don't spin, the module is smart enough to say, hey, you got ice on your windshield, your wipers are stuck, and it'll actually time out. That's going to make a liar out of me. Maybe not on high speed. Let's try low speed. This is the low speed wire. So now we're on low speed. And as this thing goes around, it's happy. Let's say your wipers are at rest and they don't move. Boom. It times out to avoid burning out the wiper motor. Pretty neat. You need to cycle the wipers back and forth, and we'll get 12 volts again. Let's try intermittent. So now we're at intermittent setting. Wipers make a cycle. You can hear the relay click. Another cycle. Click, click. 0. Click again. Now we have high power. So right here, the wipers are at rest. There's no power going to the motor. Depending on your interval, right there, it clicked, 12 volts, and it's waiting for the wipers to do a full revolution. Boom, back to 0. So that's what the logic is for. Let's wait again. Full revolution. Right as it gets back, 0 volts, so the wipers don't keep going. That's how it's supposed to work. This is the brand new module. Let's see what's happening with the old or reman module. Oh, and by the way, when you turn the wipers to off, it waits until you get to the spot, and then 0, and it should not turn it on again. Just wait a little bit. And if the wipers are somewhere else, you'll see it'll send 12 volts until it reaches back to its happy spot right there. 0. I like it. And now I'll try to mist. It's waiting. Boom. Back to 0. Awesome. So right now it's off. Obviously you should have no voltage going to your wiper motor on the pin that's closest to the connector. That's the low speed, the middle is high speed, the left pin is the ground, constant ground. Alright, let's plug this guy in. So we're on 0, unplug our voltmeter, plug the module, let's plug this guy in, see what happens. I think I already heard it click. So here's ground, and this is low speed, right? Okay. So it's off. Let's go to low speed. That's high speed. That's low speed. We're actually getting 0 volts now. Question is, why was it running all the time? Because it seems like right now it wouldn't run at all. This thing isn't doing anything. Completely useless. On any setting. So I bet one of these Chinese relays is just getting stuck. It was stuck on, now it's stuck off. See, there's no low speed at all. No matter what I do with the switch. High speed works. So if we go to the high speed pin, there you go. 12 volts, again, independent of where the wipers are. Low speed, back to our low speed pin. Right now we have 0 volts. Let's try to so now we have nothing on there. There he goes. See? 12 volts coming around. Doesn't shut off. No beans. It's supposed to shut off. We're on intermittent right now, so if we set it there, put it to 0, there you go. Constant voltage on low speed. So that proves his wipers are stuck. There you go. Now it clicked. Now it's at 0. And he said it was intermittent for a while, but then it just went back to its original not happy spot. So let's see, right now we're, so there. So right now it works, but we just saw that it didn't work. So intermittently, this thing is just going bananas. Let's see if it times out. Okay, it did time out. So switch off. So whatever tapping we did, change the state. So this is junk. I'm gonna put the new one on, put everything back together, make sure his wipers work, and be done with this thing. So I think it's pretty cool. Just from the symptoms and a wiring diagram, you can make a pretty definitive diagnosis of where the problem lies. And luckily, this part's sold separately, so it won't be that costly of a repair. Alright, I mean, doesn't get any easier than this. Make sure the pins line up with the contacts on the motor. And this guy should just slip right in. Made in Mexico, the good stuff. Put all the little screws in. You should be good to go. So I'm wondering, what is a remanufacturing process? What do they replace? Do they check for bad parts and replace the bad parts, or just replace the common wear and tear items? Or just give it a black coat of paint? I'm not sure. But if you're gonna replace anything, especially electrical components, just go with OEM. It's not that much more expensive. Yeah, you might have to wait a couple days, but you'll actually fix your problem. Alright, wiper assembly. Plug back in. Moment of truth. Yeah, I think it should work in the first setting. Perfect. So let's do intermittent. Low speed, high speed, low speed, intermittent. And then that was missed. And then the slowest speed might take like 10 seconds between activations, but everything seems to work perfectly now. They're not staying on low speed. So in this case, on the old module, if it wasn't a relay problem, it was a logic problem. Like that little rotation sensor just wasn't sending a signal, and it always thought it never got back to home, so it kept going and going and going. One more time. And that's quite the long delay. There we go. Sweet. Fixed. We call the guy, tell him pick it up, and yeah, pretty quick and easy. Pretty much what we expected, and luckily the part was available separately. Thanks a lot for watching. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.